The agenda. You can want paper. Oh, well, I until I get a laptop. Okay. Yeah, share that.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the full council meeting of Birchington Parish Council. Before we start the meeting proper, I'd remind you that the fire exits are marked with the green signs. If you need to use the lavatory at all, through this door behind me and into the corridor, you'll find the toilet there. If you need to use your telephone for any reason, please do step outside, do what you need to do, and then join the meeting after that. We'll go around the table for the purposes of the recording for each councillor to introduce himself. I'm Nick Blankley. I'm the chairman of the parish council. To my left,
Max Houghton, vice chairman.
Neville Hudson, councillor.
Martin Dickerson, councillor.
Linda Wright, councillor and chair of planning.
Jim Moore, councillor.
Phil Fellows, parish councillor and district councillor.
Bob Preble, councillor. John Tiley, councillor and chair of Environment and Place.
Jane Bevan, parish clerk.
Bill Anderson, deputy clerk. Thank you. I will just remind you also that the proceedings are being recorded and they're also being streamed live onto YouTube. So if you do not wish to appear, do sit round the corner. If you do speak, please speak clearly when I signal to you to do so. Thank you. Let's take the first item on the agenda. Apologies for absence.
Yes, but apologies from Councillor Brown and also Councillor Cupp.
Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest for any items that are on the agenda which you may have a pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest? No. Nope. Thank you. We then move to the minutes of the extraordinary full council meeting held on the 23rd of June. Those minutes have been circulated with the papers. Page 1, are there any issues with the accuracy? Page 2. Page 3.
Formally move approval, Chairman.
Do I have a seconder?
Can I just ask a question? Can I just ask a question about the minute?
Yep.
In the refurbishment of the office, I think it was said that there needs to be something done with the lease. Need to sort the lease out before the work started. Has that been done? Because I know the work started.
It's been verbally done. It hasn't been signed yet.
Right.
Okay. Any other points? No. The final page, last few lines. Consent, page 3. Yep. We have a proposer, seconder. Councillor Moore, thank you. All in favour? Thank you. Let's move on then to the chairman's report and public participation. Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak this evening? Off you go, Pat. Thank you.
Pat Orford. I'm not really speaking for myself. Alexandra has asked me to remind you about 38 Ethel Road and have they got planning permission for the extensive work that is going on there at the moment. So she said, would I bring it up with you? I believe, has she sent you the pictures?
Okay, just for information for the councillors around the table, I was contacted by Alexandra Gilbert with some concerns about this development in Ethel Road, sorry, and she's concerned that she believes that it hasn't got planning permission. It's a development that I recall coming to the planning committee, and I've undertaken to find the correct planning reference for her and to give that information for her to do as she wishes. But the development has been through the planning committee here. Okay. Thank you. There's a gentleman.
3 minutes I've got, yeah? 3 minutes, right. For those who don't know, I'm Mike Pepper. I'm the tenant site representative for the allotments. And as tenants, we're concerned about the current work being carried out along the track. That's between Park Lane and Brunswick Road, which provides access to the allotment sites, and it's been recently shut for a week with no prior notice. We understand the track is not registered by the land registry as being owned by anyone. However, TDC, prior to Birchington taken over the allotments. And then Birchington Parish Council have been maintaining the tracks for over 20 years. The Birchington Parish Council was also involved in the blocking off of the Tracker Park lane for safety reasons, because people were pulling out there with car blind, with full of kids. It was really, really dangerous. Our main concern is whether Birchington Parish Council has recorded any interest in the track at the land registry. Over the years, with various clerks, I've asked if this is the case, and I've always had a verbal response. Oh yes, I'm sure something's been done, but nothing in writing. And it's got to the stage now where I think that if someone decided that they want to take the track on, they could just say, yes, I'll do this track, it's my track, and we'd be on a ransom situation because we would have no access to the allotments. So I would like that to be raised as an issue and pointed out who actually has got rights over that track, because it's a bit of a difficult situation at the moment with the development next door. Okay, thank you very much.
Understood. Okay, thank you. It is something that we've discussed in various committees. It's not a straightforward matter, land ownership, and because it's not on the land registry, it doesn't mean that it's not owned by somebody. It just means that it wasn't set up on the system since the electronic system has been in place. I think Clark has been involved in some matters as well.
Yes, I've spoken to Land Registry, and they confirmed that they don't know who's got the title. I've spoken to KCC to find out whether it was an extension of Park Avenue, because that's what it looks like on a map, and whether that, you know, that the public right of way team would be interested in that. They one conversation I had with public rights of way team, they said that because it's been blocked off, it doesn't classify as a public, you know, the public right of way situation could be a problem. I have put a call out to Quex, because we've got some in clearing out the office, we've come across some very, very old documents for when the allotments were actually transferred over to Thanet District Council, and that shows that there is a right of way across that pathway. But I want to speak to someone at Quex to see if it's still on their deed somewhere, because it was Quex land. So we are progressing with it. I think it's very complicated.
Chairman, I think was asked about it before, when they had to dig up truck to put the cable through. There's an electric cable that goes through a few years ago, when we all the circuits got blown out. We had generators for weeks, and they couldn't find ownership there. But I think Anthony Cohen was involved in that. But historically, most people would agree it must have been Quex's access to Gore End, because it comes straight from the house, straight down the lane, straight down Park Avenue.
I absolutely agree.
It must have belonged to Quex, plus the fact that the wooded area is next to it, and that was part of the land that was gifted to TDC when they built those.
Yeah, the actual.
houses.
Okay, so we can't progress this here. We need the factual stuff, which we hopefully will get from Quex. I think we've been in touch with UK Power as well.
Yeah, because UK Power Network just suddenly arrived a couple of Fridays ago now. We rang them straight away and asked what they were doing. KCC, they had a permit number on there. KCC didn't recognise it as a permit number. UK Power Network said it's a private permit. I said, how can a private permit be given on what is public land? And I think that's what stopped the installation at the moment, because I just said, well, you'll be hearing from us. So we are dealing with it, but it's really slow, Mike. I know it's very frustrating for you all up there, but we're not disregarding it.
No,
With-
it is
with-
the ownership is critical.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
trying our hardest to ascertain.
Okay, all
But
right.
Quex is my next port of call.
Right.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Mike.
Just an aside to that, but related, we're also looking at possible change of use of the land opposite the allotments, and whether that should require planning permission for what's going on there. So that's also another strand that we're following through as well. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other points, anybody? No? Thank you. Chairman's report. I don't think I've reported this previously. I did attend the Powell Cotton Trust Garden Party at Quex at Powell Cotton Museum and Gardens just at the end of the Maybank holiday. I've also, the Vice Chairman deputised for me at the Towns and Parish Forum, which happened recently. At that meeting, there was discussions about and updates on the Sea-Link project, which is where the high power cables are coming from the wind farms. The power generated is coming from the wind farms and being landed at that Minster Marshes, which will mean some considerable development there. Also discussed was Section 106 developer contributions, funding methodology, preparation for high streets and seafronts for the summer, Pride in Place, and the new local plan, both of which are on the agenda later. In addition, I attended the Thanet Area Committee, which is a committee of the Kent Association of Local Councils. Councillor Fellows is the chair of that committee. We received a presentation of about the North Thanet Link Road from the project manager. He informed us that a planning application has been submitted to KCC Planning Committee. That was submitted on the 26th of June and is subject now to validation before it's being published, and the usual consultation process then follows. We also had some discussion about Section 106 developer funds and about the new local plan process. So that forms my report. Any questions to me about anything to do with the business? Nope. Thank you. Let's then move on to the next item on the agenda, which are the committee meetings and reports. So to receive the minutes of the Finance and Policy Government Committee meeting held on the 9th of June and the extraordinary Finance, Policy and Governance meeting held on the 16th of June. Those minutes have been circulated. Are there any comments or any questions? No, thank you. So those are noted.
We've got to approve them this evening because they weren't. We have to approve them.
We have to approve them.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I then have a proposal for the minutes from the 9th of June?
Yeah, I'll propose those.
Second.
Thank you. And likewise, proposer and seconder for the 16th of June.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's also a report from the chair of the Finance and Policy Committee.
Okay. Did you want to take a vote to approve those all the minutes?
Sorry, yes, we do need to do that. No, we.
Proposed and seconded. You want to
Proposed
get
and
everyone to
seconded.
agree?
Yeah, you need to get
Okay.
them
All in favour? Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Chairman.
of the 9th,
It's the heat.
of the 9th, and then
Yeah.
the 16th.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, Councillor Purple.
Thank you. I've not got a lot to add really, because the detail has been circulated to everybody. I would just add that a working group has started tonight to look at the live streaming pilot, and it will be extended to include review of website provision for the council. So that has started anyway.
Ask them to speak up, because we've got this noise. We
Yeah.
can't hear what
Okay.
people are saying.
Okay. What I said, Pat, was I hadn't got a lot to add to what's been circulated. All right. And we started a working group to look at live streaming of council meetings, and also to look at the website for the council because it needs upgrading. Okay, all right. It's not particularly here, but people might like to know that the Heritage Group have been offered a lease from KCC. It's still under negotiation, but that's the good news, that they're being able to stay if they can agree terms.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Councillor Prebble?
Is it along the same financial, is it going to cost them more?
I don't have the details. The details not been agreed yet, but in principle, they've been offered a lease.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on then to report from the Environment and Place Committee. Councillor Tyler.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Not a lot to report, really. I haven't had that meeting since the last full council meeting, but things are going pretty well. The MRG is working well. Footballers have finished for the season. There's a couple of friendly games that are being accommodated during this month, and that will give them, the pitchers will be given a chance to recover for next year. We are doing some work up there around the playground area, where there's a sort of rough area at the back of the playground, and we have a contractor going in there to clear that and level that, and hopefully make that a grazed area, so that can be increase the grazed area at the MRG. That's really everything else is going pretty well to plan. We have obviously the works going on in the office, and we also are slowly progressing with the shelters, and we now have 3 done, and we've got another 3 planned for this summer. So that's really all from me.
Thank you. Any questions for Councillor Tyler? Yes.
Just a point about the MRG. I think when we got the football up and running there and the children's play park, and then we started to put in what in theory was going to be a temporary area to store equipment and the toilets. It was very much a case of we wanted to see whether sport really took hold at the MRG, and if it did take hold, what were we then going to do about it? Were we going to go on and do something, whatever something was? And I think we're reaching that stage now where we need to take a decision. Are we happy with things as they are and they can continue? There's no drama with that. Or do we want to take a fundamental strategic decision about a way forwards, which might involve a proper pavilion with changing rooms? It might involve a parish office. It might involve a creche. It might involve a mugger. It might involve all sorts of things. But all of those, if we did decide to go down a route similar to that with those items, that's going to take time and it's going to take money. And I think at some stage we need to take a decision whether we're going to be bold enough to go down that path or not.
Okay. I think that's probably something which we should pose that question to the Environment and Place Committee for it to consider and perhaps come forward with some suggestions. Councillor Prebble.
Funnily enough, Max, the trustees of the charity had a meeting yesterday, and they were really saying the same thing. We needed some guidance from the council as to what comes next, so that they know where they can possibly help with grant money or everything like that. And I agree. Initially, we took a cautious approach to actually see if football would work. It has worked, and we're going ahead next season again. But that may need more facilities even for that to happen.
Okay, thank you. Let's then move on to the report from Planning Applications Committee. Councillor Wright.
Okay, thank you. It's been quite straightforward, except for the development on Cliff Road, the conversions to 5 flats.
Speak up.
The conversions to 5 flats along where in Cliff Road.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to thank Councillor Fellows and Councillor Bonidor for their outstanding presentation. I will say that. Don't get.
Keep going.
Okay. Unfortunately, there were only myself and Councillor, I forgot his name now, for more. That voted for it. We were outnumbered. There was just 2 votes. So unfortunately, the rest of the planning committee didn't see the value in protecting the environment down at Minas Bay. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Councillor Wright?
The only question I've got, do we have any redress on that? Is there any?
No. The way it won't, because it was a great majority like that, and because of the way that the planning appeals procedure is now fixed, the only way it would come back, if it was accepted, if we had could take a different line on why it needed approval, that it has to be a really substantive change, and even then you'd be lucky if they alter. It will be done on the evidence provided at the first time.
I understand that, but I feel that 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the council took a completely different view to Cliff Road and the development of flats. What has changed in that time?
I mean, we had this discussion last night about neighbourhood plan and policies in the neighbourhood plan, which Martin and myself, we made it quite clear that development, did go against the neighbourhood plan, but planning officers saw it in a different way. They looked at our policies and perceived them in a completely separate way than we looked at them. And I think we have a more emotional contact with Birchington. I think when you've got an independent people who are not from Birchington, they look at it and they're basically being sold the idea by the planning officers and being told that no, it's fine, and the building isn't going to be any bigger than the one that's already planned there. And I think independent councillors do not have that emotional connection to Birchington, look at it different than we do. I think.
I mean, the only redress or the only route would be through a judicial review. Yeah, and that would be to question process, not whether the proposal is any good or not. Yeah. So, and there's a 6 weeks period allowed for that to happen. So I suspect that opportunity is gone.
It's just disappointing that we look at that neighbourhood plan thinking this is going to protect us.
Yeah, but it
clearly doesn't.
I think the thing that I worry about is it sets a precedence.
It does
for Cliff Road.
It does set.
And
there'll be more now.
There's a few houses along the road there that would be prime sites for the development of the flats.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is to note the following standing committee agreed minutes, which is the Planning Applications Committee, the 21st of April and the 19th of May 2026, Finance Policy and Governance Committee on the 7th of April 2026, and the Place and Environment Committee on the 20th of April 2026. Can we just note those?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are taken as noted.
Yeah.
Consent.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's move on to item 6 then, and the Parish Council safeguarding policy.
Thank you. This has come straight to full council this evening, and it hasn't gone through finance, policy and governance. And the reason for that is there's a bit of urgency around it. And the urgency around it is that this is a requirement for grant funding and the applications that we're making, and in particular the application that we've just made to GDC for pride and place funding. So this is a draft policy, and it is it is a simple policy. It's a standard safeguarding policy. So
pretty standard. So the Lieutenant Council have got one on their website, which I think most parish councils follow the same.
Yeah, so we kind of
based it on.
We've actually
plagiarised it.
Pinched it on someone else. But yeah, so that's the policy for.
Okay, the policy has been circulated to everybody. Are there any questions?
Can I propose that we accept it, please?
Is there questions first?
Sorry, Jim.
On page 2, it says the designated safeguarding lead shall normally be the parish clerk. In the absence of parish clerk, concern should be put to the chair of the council. Page 3, it talks about concerns regarding children. It says if there are concerns about a child or young person, a referral should be made through the Kent Safeguarding Child Multi-Agency Partnership Portal. And the same we go about concerns regarding adults at risk. To me, the document isn't clear whether we should go through the DSL first, the designated safeguarding lead first, or if it's a matter of urgency, go direct to these partnerships. I think it might just need a bit of clarification what we should do first.
Yeah, I mean, it says the designated safeguarding lead will be responsible for receiving concerns and coordinating referrals. So I could take that as being it's the referral would then go to the
If everyone's happy with that, when I read it, I just thought, oh,
yeah, no,
I had a question mark against it, whether that just needed a sentence in there that you do that first, we come to you first. But if it's a matter of urgency, as an example, we can't get hold of you, that we do that. It's just whether it needs tidying up a little bit. That's just how I read it and the initial reaction, that was all.
Okay.
If everyone else is happy with it, then.
Councillor Wright.
Thank you. When we get when I get a safeguarding issue that's relating to Birchington, I always contact Jason.
Okay.
Who will accompany us with a visit, and then Jason then forwards it on to Kent County Council.
Yeah, this is safeguarding in respect of councillors, and the conduct of councillors within the conducting the business of the council. If there are members of the community who are particularly of concern, then of course the correct agency may well be the right place to refer.
But let's just that Councillor Moore mention children.
Okay, thank you, Councillor.
Yeah, Chairman, I'd like to formally move approval of the safeguarding policy. It's not something new. It's been around and it does carry out work. You made the point. It's about us, how we behave and how we respond to any safeguarding matters, that we take them through the proper course of action, and that will of course be through our professional officers if anything comes to us. And I formally move the document as printed.
Yeah. Seconder?
Yeah.
Please. All in favour? Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, we've had some comments from the public gallery. They can't hear what we're saying because of the fans and the noise.
And you're turning that way, away from us. Can't hear a word.
Turn it off.
Let's turn them off.
Yeah, turn it off. It's only blowing hot air around anyway.
Shall we turn them off?
Sorry. Me. I didn't say this. Oh, I said I seconded the motion.
But we don't know.
You hear what I said?
Yes.
Well, that's not that. We are there, that's all right.
That's the most important thing. Don't worry about anyone else.
Might be getting into the nitty-gritty. It's a real example.
I think it's worth it, to be honest with you. I think it is.
It's the aircon, if you don't know.
Yeah.
That better?
Yeah.
That's as good as it comes.
Okay, it seems to have gone quieter to me. Any better for yourself?
I'll
No.
let you know.
Yeah.
What
Well
did you
done,
say?
Jason. I'll let you know.
Oh, no, not saying that.
Better?
I think so, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
let's
is it done? Yeah.
rock on and see what happens. Thank you. Let's move on to the next item then, which is item 7, Rossetti Gardens.
Right, so everyone will be aware of the fact that Rossetti Gardens is designated as an asset of community value. I wrote to Thanet District Council on the 10th of June, and we've circulated a copy of that letter to everyone, and it has gone out as part of the agenda pack. What we've done in that letter is we've said that we are still interested in Rossetti Gardens as an asset, but that we wanted Thanet District Council to answer 3 questions. The first one is whether we as a parish council qualify as a community interest group for the purpose of taking the matter forward. The second one is whether Rossetti Gardens was regarded by TDC as a public open space, in which case there are some statutory requirements around its disposal. And the third question that we asked was whether Thanet District Council intends to dispose of the asset subject to any restrictions, covenants or conditions. I can report that I've just heard back from TDC and they have confirmed, sorry, I'm travelling around in my files, they've confirmed that yes, we do qualify as a nominating body under Regulation 5 of the ACV Regulations 2012. And yes, Rossetti Gardens is classified as a public open space, and the disposal is subject to statutory requirements under Section 123 of the Local Government Act 72. That actually means that they have to formally advertise in the paper that the land is being disposed of. And the last question they answered was that they said to preserve the site's future use as a community asset, the disposal will include necessary restrictions to ensure the continued maintenance of the Dante Rossetti Memorial and Obelisk. So, not sure how. Perhaps it could go a bit further, and it be, you know, that it will be a public open space for the future. But those three questions have been answered. So I think we now need to take the next step as the council and decide what we do next, really.
Okay. So that would be a matter for the environment and open space.
Would it be fine? It's moved on to finance now because it's a monetary matter.
Okay, so that will be a matter for the Financial Policy Committee to take forward.
Has there been any talks? I know it was all about money last time. Has there been any figure? I know they had a figure last time.
Yeah, we've had an independent valuation done of it. We have not played that particular card yet. We do have up to November, I believe, under the ACV process. So we have got some time. So if we put it on the agenda for finance for August next month, then we can sort of like agree a strategy in terms of.
And I know that was advertised in the paper previously when the first was going to dispose of it.
Back in 2019.
No, recently when it was for sale, when we was looking at it before, and there was a closing date. When there was a closing date for bids, do you remember that the bid option?
I don't remember it being in the paper.
I don't think anybody bid. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember it being in the paper, but I remember the closing date for the bids, which is what made us go down the ACV route.
Sorry, Phil, if you can,
I'll try and find
when that was, we'd appreciate it. At the moment, we don't think it's happened, which is an issue.
I think there are some steps to go through. So we need to understand what restrictions will be placed on the land if it's sold. So the monument, the memorial is one thing. If it's to sustain the pathway across it and keep it as an open space, then those things need to be understood because they will all affect the valuation. So that before we get to the valuation piece, we need to make sure everything else is tied down. Sorry, yeah.
And just also, we need to be absolutely sure that it belongs to TDC to sell it in the first place, because their due diligence clearly on 1,600 houses wasn't too brilliant. So we need to make sure that that piece of ground is TDC's to sell in the first instance.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the update. Any other points? One more. Yeah.
Yes, Chairman. Just to advise the council that this matter has been with the council for a number of years and spoken about for a number of years, and several ongoing councils have agreed to follow the lines to try and get acquisition of it. And the main principle of that is to reserve it as a public open space, and not to allow it to become a huge block of flats or anything similar. So I thoroughly support the work that we've been doing at the moment and formally move that we continue to do that work as required through policy.
committee.
I'd just say, following on from what Max has just said about the title deeds for it, are we going to formally follow that up as to finding out what that is? I know we've spoken about it. It's going to be sort of formally said we're actually going to do that.
This is something that Alexandra Gilbert is looking at on our behalf. She's trying to unravel the history of that whole plot of land, and she's seeking various documentation, including from the Residents Association. We have that work going on, but the formal approach to the land registry may be necessary as well.
Can I just tell you, I've gone through the Brow magazines, most of them, for Alexandra, and picked out Sandals Road before it became Rossetti Gardens. It was just wasteland when I was a child. It was just, it wasn't even well kept. It wasn't grassy. It was just a little bit of wasteland that was there. So.
All right, thank you. Councillor Fellows.
Yeah, I was just going to say, can you remind me does the conservation area go as far as Christie's?
No.
Is there anything we can do to list that building? Because I know it has a lot of history, Christie's.
Yeah.
It's been, I think it was the factory where the first lady's bike was ever made.
Different topic.
I think we would be up against time.
It's not true.
To,
is that a myth?
Okay, thank you. Let's retain some formality, please.
Sorry.
We would be up. I think we'd be up against it if we wanted to go for any listings kind of thing. I think the evidence and the merit of the site probably wouldn't reach the bar anyway. So there is work going on. There are some, that could be regarded as a heritage asset. So there is work happening, and we're trying to push. We've bought a bit of time by it being classified as an asset of community value, and we've got a bit of time now to try and pull together a case which argues for in along the lines that have been set out by Councillor Hudson. Okay, let's then move on to the next one, which is Pride in Place Impact Fund. Just a reminder that Thanet received £1.5 million grant from government as part of the government initiative, which is the Pride in Place Impact Fund. The intention of the fund is to invest in capital projects which will improve the public space, the public environment. 1.4 million was allocated to projects in Margate and Broadstairs. £100,000 was retained for distribution to towns and parishes in packages of £20,000 each. So 5 packages of £20,000 across 8 towns and parishes. Competitive bids were invited. We submitted a bid based on following considerable work within committees and working groups. We put together a proposal to develop a heritage trail in Birchington, to do this in collaboration with the Birchington Heritage Trust, to put in place a network of information boards and finger posts to identify various places around Birchington to enhance that sense of place for those who live here, but also to help visitors to appreciate some of the features and assets that we have as a community. So that went forward. We've received a couple of queries from the finance department at TDC regarding a couple of elements that we've included. They're suggesting that possibly those elements are revenue matters rather than capital items, points of repair and maintenance rather than new investment. So we have a response which, did it go today?
No, it hasn't gone yet.
No, we have a response which will go tomorrow, which is a pushback to say that they've misunderstood and that this is a whole of capital project and that the 20,000 is fully justified. So we await the outcome. We're told the final announcement will be made this week. So we'll sit tight and see what comes back. Yes.
Thank you, Chairman. Part of the document refers to benches, finger posts and boards. I wrote an email to Paul Bannick at KCC today about various matters, and I included in it asking for advice regarding placing of finger posts, etc., in public maintainable highway, because there may be a process which could be possibly quite time consuming, and we might have time constraints put on us regarding the end of this financial year. So hopefully that we might get some information back on that in case we need to do it fairly quickly.
Okay, thank you. We do have one finger post,
Yes,
which is
yeah.
over here in the flower bed at the road junction. The intention is that that will be part of this network. As far as the funding goes, there is a deadline of the 31st of March where the money must be allocated. So it's not necessarily having to be spent. So if there is a delay, we have a chance, but preferably we will want to get the whole project finished by the end of February and have a little bit of leeway if necessary.
Yeah, I'm thinking particularly in the conservation area, if we want to put anything as well, might be a problem.
Okay. Any other points? Thank you. Let's move on then to the local plan timetable. The current local plan, which was adopted by TDC in 2020, is now out of date, which means that any planning applications start from the basis of what's the right term, in favour of development, and have to work backwards. And so local plan policies don't carry as much weight now as they would have done previously. So work is starting on development of a new local plan at Thanet Council. Notice was given during June that would start, and there's now a process which spans 30 months in which the plan has to go from initiation through to final adoption. And there are gateways, formal gateways within that process that have to be achieved, have to be passed by the planning authority. So the period between now and the middle of August is a preparatory period. It's quite important for towns and parishes to become involved at this stage, so that we are right at the beginning while TDC are forming ideas and putting together processes. From the middle of August to later in October, there is some formal consultation, and that will then set the framework and the direction for the local plan, and our level of influence beyond that stage will then be set by whatever we've achieved up to that point. So beyond there, we will then be just simply part actors almost in the process, I believe. There will be consultation, but I think we all know what happens when ideas and documents and processes are already well formed. The consultation is usually regarded as a necessity rather than a contributor to process. So the matter was discussed at the Thanet Area Committee last night, and we have agreed that where possible, towns and parishes across Thanet will collaborate and try to bring some influence to bear on the officers at TDC.
Yep. Well done on that. That's a good report. But together with that, we as the sponsors of the Birchington Neighbourhood Plan will have to update that.
Yes.
Be on the work programme.
The planning policy treadmill, if you like, it's leapfrog. I don't know what you might call it. Essentially, the last planning policies that were adopted become the ones that are current. So currently, the neighbourhood plan policies are meant to be at least equal to local plan policy. Where there's conflict, the neighbourhood plan should be regarded as the prime document. Once the local plan is renewed, it will leapfrog the neighbourhood plan, and the onus will then be on the parish council to refresh the neighbourhood plan and to do what it needs to do. Any other points? No? Okay. Let's then move forward. I'm afraid you've got me again. This is about the biodiversity strategy, the draft biodiversity strategy, which TDC circulated earlier this year. We submitted a response. Essentially, the response is that we would like to see a nature first approach to planning. we've made some recommendations about principles that might be adopted within the strategy, and in particular, that the biodiversity should be quantifiable, and that baselines should be identified in the strategy, and target achievements should also be quantified so that we can measure over time whether we're making progress towards strategic aims or not. The full document is available online if you wish to consult that, and likewise our response is there as well. Any questions? Councillor Moore.
Can you just, well, for my benefit and perhaps members of the public, the term material considerations, can you explain what you mean by that, please?
Okay, so planning decisions are not, it's not a scientific process. It's subjective in many ways. But you can think of a sort of balancing act of a set of scales, and you have the pros and the cons, and you look at different issues. Some issues are, you don't consider them because they're not really relevant to the matter in hand. Those that are relevant are generally material considerations. They are ones that carry some weight, and they put them on the scales, either on the for or the against, and it becomes a balancing act. So the material considerations are the ones that you have to take seriously and you have to take into account. The non-material ones are very interesting, but thank you very much.
What I thought, is it, so am I right in thinking that they've got to take notice of it if it's in the local plan, that it's nature first? If it is not considered as a material matter, it's what you're saying, it's a nicety rather than anything, rather than a necessity.
So one would expect that the biodiversity strategy would be part of the family of documents that form part of the local, what we call the development plan. So the development plan has the local plan, the neighbourhood plan, and the various strategies within it as well. So any planning application should be as consistent as possible with the policies that are set out in that family of documents. Councillor Farrell.
No, I was just going to follow on what you said. I mean, we heard a lot last night about benefits outweighing the negatives. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Any other points? Yes.
Yeah, just a detail, Chairman. You wrote a very good report on that, and the conclusion said Birchington Parish Council supports the aims and the draft biodiversity strategy and welcomes the ambitions to restore nature across Thanet, and the small words. I think we need to formally adopt that as a council resolution.
Are you proposing that?
And I would propose it.
Okay. Do we have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Fellows. All in favour?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Let's then move on to report from district councillors. Who's going to bat first?
I think it's only me today. Or,
No, you carry on.
You go.
go first?
No, you carry on.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening,
Councillor Dawson.
Chairman, and good evening, members of the council. I do apologise, first of all, for not being present to some of the meetings that you've had. I'm currently training to be a counsellor therapist, so that's taken up a lot of my time, and I'm not yet retired yet, so I've got a full-time job as well. But having said that, I do want to be more involved with the Health and Wellbeing Board that you have here. I've now had Fridays off, so I'll be able to help you more. And looking forward to July the 11th when I can help you on the stores as well. So we can discuss that. That'd be really, really good. So I just wanted to have a look at the Birchington Conservation Area Assessment Management Plan, because you sent out that letter, didn't you, to the council. So I've read through that letter to Colin Carmichael, and I appreciate the positive intentions behind the Conservation Assessment Plan. And I realise the question is being raised before council. I think Councillor Linda Wright is raising that. But I do believe that, you know, there should be maybe a better way forward with TDC with shared aims and just creating more of a symbiotic relationship with them. Currently, they're going through quite a lot of changes and they haven't got the resources. And, you know, we're looking into this new unitary plan coming in soon. I think sometimes things like your plan that you want to push forward is sometimes put to the bottom of the pile. because they're looking at this moment, you know, the litter disruption that we've got, the collections and stuff like that. I'm not making excuses for them, but I do feel that sometimes the relationship between the two authorities needs to be, you know, better in a way how you communicate with each other. So I found the letter a little bit dry and a little bit cold. I mean, that's my opinion, and it's not a criticism of you. It's just the way that I view relationships. I think there could be a little bit of a more of a you know, a symbiotic relationship. Then you might get more there if you do it that way. If not, they might push against you even further, and then you don't get anywhere. Okay, and that's not a criticism. It's just an observation. I like that. The other thing I was just going to mention is that residents are emailing regarding a possible development that's being publicised behind Jeanette Roberts School. There's no application currently lodged with TDC, so residents may need to be encouraged to make their representations to FINS, and Councillor Fellows mentioned that to me, that might be the best option to go for them to go to FINS directly, who are the potential applicants. So maybe that's the way forward as well. They go for FINS.
Okay. Any questions? No, thank you.
I just sort of pick up on that conservation, because I think you're right. There is some sort of block between us and TDC with this conservation. I remember being at the parish forum and I stood next to you when you asked Ashley Jackson, when is it going to happen? And she just said it will happen when it happens. I mean, there's no doesn't seem any motion with it, and I find it frustrating because I asked the question back in December to Helen Whitehead, and I was told it was going to happen in the new year. I don't know which. Well, exactly. I mean, and the thing is with TDC, we can only ask the same question. There has to be a 6-month gap, which is now why Councillor Wright is now asking the question again. Unfortunately, Helen Whitehead's not the planning cabinet member anymore, so it's now going to be the leader.
Yep.
I just add something to what Councillor Dawson was saying. I'm a great advocate in emotional intelligent communication, so I think I really push for that, because I think if we get emotional intelligent communication between us and between different authorities, then more likely to get a win-win situation where, you know, both Birchington Parish Council and TDC get what we want.
I mean, it's something I've been pushing for since I became a TDC councillor. It's collaboration between town and parish councils and the district council. And yet there has been better things. We've got the parish forums, we've got dedicated officer in Penny Button, but sometimes it doesn't feel like our gears are grinding together. You know, it does feel like there's a separation, and
yeah. Okay. Carrying on with reports from district councillors.
Okay, as Councillor Fellows has said, I am going to raise the question again. If I get a chance to respond, I will ask why Ashley Jackson sent that email to the clerk,
Gmail,
saying it will get done when it's done.
No, there was a personal question face to face. That was just the answer. There was just no. There was just no.
If I get the opportunity, I'll try and stick that one in. One of the questions that Councillor Cuff has asked me to raise that question. The question that I was going to ask was, would it be possible for TDC to consider reducing the land hire charges for local groups and charities that do events? Because at the moment, because of the charges that are being inflicted on the person that organises the event, it's taking the cost to the vendors. The vendors stop coming. The events get smaller, and we lose. We not only do the charities lose, we also lose tourists, and that will impact. Will eventually have an impact on the economy of the area. But that will be for another time. 2 weeks ago, I went to London to an LGA conference, and somebody raised something about, it was based around London. They've got more historic buildings that are laying empty, and they were trying to work on a way whereby they could preserve the outside of the historic buildings, but build accommodation in the parts, just like they did at Battersea Power Station, basically. They should look to use those kind of brownfield sites rather than build on green belt,
Okay, thank you.
which was quite interesting.
Okay, is that the report?
That's it.
Thank you. Councillor Fellows.
The big ticket item in the last few weeks has got to be waste and recycling. I think everybody's here had a problem with their bins, red bags, recycling, they're not being collected.
For the public panel.
I've been pushing for a meeting to get it sorted. We have a meeting next Tuesday. Overview and scrutiny are going to look at waste and recycling, what's gone wrong, why it's gone wrong, and how we can make sure it isn't going to happen again, because it's been an absolute disaster. To be honest, I mean, the last bank holiday we saw overflowing bins that were just left for days on end, and it's not a good look, and we shouldn't be. We all pay our council tax. I remember the public contact me over the bank holiday, just after the bank holiday, and he said to me, I drive up Birchington High Street, I saw bags of rubbish just not collected. He said my bin wasn't collected. I took my toddler down to Apple Bay, and the grass is 2 foot high on a bank holiday Sunday. Why isn't it cut? And then they cut it on Tuesday. There's some failings, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of what's going on with operations on Tuesday. And I know the clerk had some communications with Mr. Humber. I thought the communications were terrible. We are going to look at communications, and there's something seriously gone wrong there with communications and how they communicate with residents. Because I think one leaflet through the door in some properties. I mean, we had a crime and disorder meeting. Our last group meeting was crime and disorder, and we had Chief Inspector in Swallow there, and he was saying, how chaotic people are in Margate. There's a chaotic group of residents in parts of Margate, and you wonder if those type of people are looking at these leaflets. Are they looking at a leaflet to be told which Monday to put their bin out? No, they're not. No, I think communication has been a disaster, and I know that one poor fellow in the High Street in Station Road who lives in a bedsit above a shop, and he put his black bag out because he's got nowhere to store it, and he got a £70 fine. I thought that was absolutely disgraceful, to be honest.
Okay. Any other issues?
But yeah, I think everything's covered. I think the land at Allen Avenue, I think that's going to be a big thing coming up in the next few weeks. As Emma said, there's no application. There's no point trying to write to TDC at the moment. You've got to send your nasty emails to Finns and tell them we don't want it.
Okay, thank you. We have a written report.
Yes,
Sorry,
Jim had his hand up, sorry.
I'm sorry.
is that a report from one of the TDC councillors?
Yeah, from George and Reese.
Oh, right, perhaps I could take mine first because it's to do with Birchington South. Firstly, I'd like to thank the district councillors for all they've done regarding Alpha Road car park and the access road. I understand that's now up to tender, so hopefully that will be resolved very, very soon and being safer. So, but well, thanks for that. However, on the 3rd of June, I sent an email to the Birchington South district councillors asking for some updates on various matters to report back to the Place and Environment Committee. Firstly, it was regarding Surrey Gardens, faded yellow lines and parking bay white lines. That was first reported on the 20th of December 2024. However, that work was carried out today. So, Albion Road car park removal of redundant posts, first reported 26th of February 2025. So nowhere on that. That was reported. I was asked by one of the district councillors to send information through to Penny Button. I received, I think it was 3 out of office responses, nothing past that.
Is this leading to a question?
Sorry?
Is this leading to a question?
Hopefully I might get some responses now.
I copied you into the recent email that I sent in where I've asked them to be removed.
Okay.
As you know, I have copied you into it.
Let's just one at a time, please.
I am on that one.
This is leading up to my next move. If you don't mind. Now this is quite concerning. Station Road, this is more recent, April 2026, and this is a safety issue. The Station Road access road adjacent to United Services Club towards the Alpha Road car park. So I say this is a safety issue. So I'm looking for, is there a response to that safety issue?
Right.
Because I feel that some of these issues that have been outstanding for so long, not necessarily that one, but because it's a safety issue, maybe take up a more formal complaint to TDC.
Yeah, I'd ask the landowner, I'd take the safety issues to the landowner.
We have done that in the past with no response.
Right.
So we're asking TDC to.
It's private land.
Yes, I understand that.
Okay, is
I think it's quite important,
if it's a question,
I think it's quite important,
the
Chairman.
point has been made that there's a number of issues outstanding which needs to be resolved. I don't think going backwards and forwards across this table is going to take it any further.
I'll just make one point on this, Chairman, because I think it's quite important that one of the main reasons for going along that is to access Alpha Road car park. Now, if it's a safety issue, should they consider closing that access to Alpha Road car park? That's where I see TDC should be involved with it.
Okay, so
but
this
private road
can
I ask that be taken up on that basis, that access that bit of roadway is used to access. If it wasn't available to go to Alpha Road car park, the residents and users of that to the flats behind, they can take it up with the.
Okay, I think the point's been made then. So there's a health and safety responsibility regarding that road. TDC are now aware of that. We have fulfilled our responsibility as far as the legislation is concerned. If somebody comes to grief as a result of that not being fixed, then the responsibility will lie either with TDC or with the landowner or between them. So I think we've fulfilled our.
This be minuted, please.
Yeah. So I mean, what you've described there is a manifestation of the frustration that Councillor Dawson referred to earlier, that we're looking for responses to what seem to be fairly simple questions, and that we're not receiving those because officers are busy doing other things. But I think you're right to raise your concern and your frustration, and I think we really need to look to our district councillors to try and press more firmly to get responses to these questions.
Thank you, Chairman. Sorry, please can I have this minuted?
Okay, thank you. We have a written contribution from councillors Cupp and Hugh.
Yeah. Councillor George Cupp and Reece Q have asked for the following report to be read out. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Waste collection services. A significant area of focus has been at the ongoing issues affecting waste collection services across Thanet. Concerns have continued to be raised regarding missed collections, overflowing bins, and the wider impact on local communities. Working across party lines, we brought forward a motion seeking greater scrutiny of the service, the development of a clear improvement plan, and action to restore public confidence. Whilst the motion was not supported by the administration and therefore did not pass, we welcome the fact that an action plan and accompanying report will now be considered by the Overview and Scrutiny Committee in July. The Minnis Bay homeless gentleman. We have been working with RISE, the Council's homelessness team, who have confirmed with us that after a lot of work on building trust, that this homeless gentleman who was living in a tent on the green by Minnis Bay car park has now accepted moving into temporary accommodation with the hope that he will find a more permanent setting soon. The council will now also work to clear where he has been staying on the green, and I can confirm that's been sorted today. Emerging local plan. We have continued to scrutinise the emerging local plan, recognising the significant implications it will have for housing delivery, infrastructure, public services, and the future development of Thanet. We remain committed to ensuring that the evidence supporting the plan is robust and that residents have meaningful opportunities to influence proposals through the consultation process. Margate Town Council. We welcomed the formal approval of Margate Town Council, marking an important milestone for local democracy. This achievement reflects work and support from individuals and groups across the political spectrum over a number of years and will provide Margate with its own dedicated town council. And finally, the Minnis Bay Play Park refurbishment. An update can also be provided regarding the refurbishment of Minnis Bay Play Park. Contracts have now been signed and arrangements are in place for the refurbishment to proceed with the final designs agreed. To minimise disruption during the peak summer holiday period, construction will now commence in September, with completion anticipated by the end of the month. Whilst this represents a slight delay to the original programme, The revised timetable enables families to continue using the play park throughout the busiest period of the year, while ensuring that the planned improvements are delivered later this year. If anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to call or email us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's then move on to the next item, reports from our county councillors. Councillor Evans.
Hi everybody. There's not a lot of time in here, but now I've got plenty to catch up on. I'm going to go through it as quickly as I can to try and keep the facts. I did send a report over to you, but there's a couple of things I need to add to that quickly. I just remembered. The first one is Brooksend Pond, and that's down as you go down to Brooksend station, petrol station. I've been working with highways to try and get something done with that pond. There's a community group with Birchington that want to bring the pond back into sort of viable use, because it's just a big overgrown mess at the moment. I was kind of running into some brick walls with highways, but now I've found another way, which hopefully might be a bit more successful. There's a Kent Pond and some kind of other partnership that goes all over Kent, and you probably know a bit more about this.
That's right, it's the Stour Country Partnership. They've just celebrated their 400th pond, bringing it back into use and monitoring it with all the newts, and they're always advertising for more ponds, obviously to see if we could add that to their list, see if they might be interested in supporting, assisting bringing the pond back and keeping it in good condition.
Which would be good news, and it won't have any impact on highways. And I think that's where the problems come from for the cost of highways. So there's going to be a new environmental assessment done on it to see what wildlife's in there. They'll be doing water quality tests and stuff like that as well. So as soon as I've got any updates on that, I will put those on to you. Is it all right if I take questions at the end?
Yeah,
just so I
okay.
get through this. So
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
ask you questions. The next thing I want to talk about, and I feel like I talk about this every time I come in here, is Panic Way A299. As many of you know, work's underway. Me and Councillor Henderson actually attended one of the resurfacing meetings to go and see how the whole process was done, and to speak to the engineers and surveyors that are carrying out the process. And credit to the team on the ground, they're doing an amazing job down there with minimal disruption to people, because it's all happening at night. But one of the things that I did really want to bring to everybody's attention, and I was quite amazed when I found this out. So it's costing £3 million of council taxpayers' money to fix that road. And the main surveyor for the whole project told me in 3 years' time it's going to be fixed again. And this comes back to when it was built 30 years ago, it wasn't built properly in the first place. We are trying to do something about it. We have applied for a grant from the government, £65 million grant, which we would have to match fund. And that's the only way the road's going to get sorted. It's going to be 120, 130, maybe 140 million pounds to resolve the ongoing issues. But if that does happen, then hopefully we won't have to keep throwing money at it every 3 years when it fails. So again, I'll keep you updated with the grant as and when I find out more information about it. The next thing I want to talk about is probably on everybody's lips overnight, is the Cleaning Up Britain campaign. So over the weekend, the Reform UK Clean Up Britain campaign saw an incredible turnout of thousands of volunteers participating across the country to improve the areas that we live in and represent. Our branch was proud to contribute, organising and supporting litter pigs across Minster Gardens, Westbrook, Westgate, Birchington and Herne Bay. In addition, I assisted the cleaning of the village gates in SAR, as you would probably all know by now, which were in a particularly poor condition. They were all grubby. In fact, one of them had so many weeds that run up, you could barely even see it. And then when, I don't know how this happened, and we're still trying to investigate how it happened, one of the pictures that got sent over was AI generated, and we don't know why, and we're still trying to investigate why that's happened. So initially we thought this was a bad thing and it was going to be bad for our reputation. But actually, it turns out quite a good thing, because it turns out these village gates now are world famous. And there's actually been press down there today, at least 3 different news agencies down there today, to go and see how bad these gates are. To which they were amazed, because they look like they're brand new now, because we cleaned them, they do look like new. So what turned out as a bad thing last night, it's actually turned into a very good thing, because people are seeing the good work that our councillors, the Reform councillors, are doing across our constituency. And if you've got spare 5 minutes, go down and have a look, and you'll see how amazing they are yourselves. Moving on from the village gates, as wonderful as they are, I want to talk about business investment and economic support. So the business investment economy continues to provide a vital support through 0% interest loans by the Kent and Medway Business Fund. This includes standard loans ranging from £100,000 to £750,000 and small business boost loans from £25,000 to £99,000. The reason why I want to bring this to you, your attention, is because basically everybody I've spoken to in Thanet about this, I've never even heard of it. And I think you did a bit of this in your previous role, didn't you? So you might be able to expand on it a bit more.
Yeah, I sat on the board for the Kent and Medway Business Fund. Yes, it's 0% loans for anyone setting up or expanding a business. We removed a lot of the regulation around it, meaning that as long as you're going to maybe hire another person, pretty much you can apply for the loans. It's 0%, and just to help people if you're starting a business or expanding, just after you've done so, it can be difficult to immediately start to pay back such a loan. So the loan is 0 payments for the first 6 months, just to let the business get going, so that then the payments kick in after that. And like I say, it's 0%. There is, however, a charge. There is a 10% fee. But of course, spread over 5 or 7 years, which the loans usually are, obviously that equates to 2 or 1.7%, which is far below inflation and better than anything that you could receive at any bank.
And that's why I passed over to Councillor Henderson for that one. With that, if it's okay, if I can send it some information to you, because obviously my division that I cover, Birchington and Rural, covers a lot of industrial areas and all that around Manston area. If I can send information of that, I'm not sure that can be shared on your parish council website, because I know there'll be a lot of residents that live in this area that could probably do quite well from these loans and bring more money into the area.
Yeah, I think that's a yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
How much is the maximum loan?
We increased it this year. It was 650,000.
Okay,
We've sort of increased it to 750,000. So yes, there's a small business boost, which I think might start at 25 to 99,000, and then the bigger one, 100,000 to 750,000. We did try to push it to over $1 million, but apparently that was a little tricky. So we started 750,000.
All right. So the only,
next year.
yeah, the only condition is that you employ one person. Yeah?
Just increasing the amount of employment is probably the main factor. They wanted they like a little bit of innovation, but we've removed that as being a necessity. And they also had environmental net zero policies, and we removed those as well. So you don't have to invest in an electric car or anything like that.
Thank you. I think if we want more details, we
Yeah,
go to the wherever the
Okay, I've got two more things. The first one is parking petition. A lot of you know about this now. So a few weeks back, I published a few surveys to find out about people's thoughts and opinions on which I think are quite extortionate parking fees in Birchington. And the surveys basically proved that I suspected all along. We've had over 300 responses, and people are visiting Birchington less, and when they are visiting, they're staying for less time. So the frequency and the time spent here is lower than what it previously was, and it's a direct result, they're telling me, from the parking fees. So I've published a petition because I really want to take this fight to TDC, because I just don't think it's fair to the residents. I don't think it's fair to the businesses that are quite really having a hard time down the high street. And I know all of you in this room here, the district councillors, the parish councillors, you're very got the emotional attachment to the high street, and the businesses and the people that live around here and work around here. So what I'm calling for is for everybody to endorse and sign the petition, and if possible, share it on your social media feeds, because I don't actually use Facebook, so I can't share it on Facebook. So I'm thinking if the district councillors would be able to do that, I think it would make a big difference to how many people sign the petition. I think we're at nearly 300 signatures now. But I think with your support, you guys are all local legends around here. I think we could double that easily. I am going to be sending an email to Sir Roger Gow tomorrow asking him to support it as well, because obviously he has a big backing, and I do think that he would carry quite a lot of oomph with it as well. But for me, this is not a cross-party thing. This is about doing what's right for the residents of Birchington. So obviously all support and that would be really appreciated.
Just a point on that is that the unfairness to our high streets is that Westwood Cross get out of town rates, so their rates are lower than the rates of small local shops, and of course they benefit from the free parking. So balance.
Yeah, it's just unfair. So, and the very final thing, a very quick thing, and I believe this might be already on the website. It's the KCC budget consultation for the coming year. Last year, I believe, it was the highest amount of response in 10 years. I don't know if people are trying to catch us out or whatever, but actually that's good. We want more people to sign it. The more people that sign it, the more knowledge and know-how that we can sort of help them with their wishes, what they want the council tax money to be spent on. So again, if anybody in this room has social media accounts, the link is going to be on the Parish Council website. Just copy and paste the link into your social media accounts and ask people to do the same, sign and share. So we'll fill it out and share. And that'd be really, really appreciated, because we do take into consideration every single bit that goes on this side of the budget next year.
Okay, thank you.
That's been done. So I'm happy for questions. If you want to move on, I'm happy to take them.
Questions, Councillor Wright first.
I have actually followed up. I sit on the drainage board, and they will protect Birchington Pond with their life. We did suggest that people wanted there because of all there are some rare species there.
Secret species, isn't it?
I can't remember the figure, but there are various reasons why it should stay as it is. There was a group, you'll correct me, Pat, if I'm wrong. Some time ago, a group did say they wanted to tidy it up, and most of the village said leave it alone.
Is this a question, leading to a question? Or?
It's just for the councillors' information.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Councillor Moore?
Yes. There were two Birchington councillors elected with over 3,000 votes. One, both I understand were standing for Reform UK. Do you have any interaction with the other councillor who is no longer, I believe, is independent? Firstly, do you have any contact, a liaison with her as to what she does?
No, I don't. I don't think. I think it's in the public sphere now. She doesn't even live in Panic anymore. She lives in Folkestone or something. She doesn't live around here anymore. And she actually wrote something that I thought was quite offensive to myself and everybody in this room who are district and parish councillors, saying that the division she represents is only small and not very busy, so she can do it from her laptop.
Yeah. Let's just concentrate on the sort of high level stuff, please.
In the answer to your question, no, I don't.
Does she do anything at all for this parish? As far as you're aware.
Has she broken the 6 months rule yet?
Just one at a time, please. Let's just try and get through the business in an orderly way.
That was relevant.
Councillor Moore, please.
Ask, what's the kind of feedback you get from KCC, other councillors, no matter what party they are, to the kind of what she does or doesn't do?
I think everyone's in the same boat. I think her attendance and her performance is underwhelming.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Fellows, yeah.
I mean, I had Amelia Randall written down here because it was a discussion at the Kent Association Local Councils meeting last night. I mean, we don't see any KCC councillors at our meetings. You're invited, but you've never been to one that I've ever been at. And Amelia Randall's never been to any meetings here. So there is a lack of attendance for our councils. Parking. What do you think that the level of parking charges should be in the high street?
Well, from the survey results, people want a little bit of free parking to start with, anywhere between half an hour and an hour, so people can just run in and grab something or whatever in the shop. And then after that, we're probably looking at about £1 an hour for a maximum of 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why there is paid parking is because there used to be free parking and it just got blocked up by business owners parking their vehicles outside their shop, and then they just block the spaces, and then nobody could park. So there was the traders that wanted paid parking brought in many years ago. And I think that's because we had lots of banks here and lots of visitors come from outside. But you can park in Alpha Road car park for £1.40, which is just there. You can park in Albion Road car park for 20p.
Yep.
I mean,
is there a question?
I'm just saying, what was your level of thing? And there was
we had the answer.
And I just make another point as well towards. So, I mean, there was a petition just a few years ago by your previous incumbent, and there was 3,500 signatures on that, and it's still never gone anywhere. But there is a review in progress. Budget setting is coming up soon. Christian Bright is the person you need to speak to. There is a budget review in process for parking merchants and the prices, and that's already underway in the parking strategy review that's been going on for the last year or so. So the charges are under review already.
So is that you support the petition or you don't?
I support anything that we can get free parking.
Good man.
I've fought for free parking on a Sunday for the farmers market.
Yep. Thank you.
There is. We get free parking at Christmas.
Questions.
We do try and get. It's not something that
move on then to the item.
Every year we are trying to get reduction in parking. It's not something that's new. It's something.
Let's move on then. Thank you. Let's move on to the report then from the board. Did we have a report from police, from Steve, and from our county community warden, please?
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, councillors. Continuing to support both Birchington and Westgate, as you know, I completed another ward surgery with Kent Police at the parish office. That went very well. Along with Trading Standards Officer, I completed a scam awareness leaflet drop in some of the more vulnerable areas of Birchington. Completed a bike fix event with Thanet District Council, where I security marked the bicycle. This was held at Birchington Library. I'm continuing to support Heart in the Community's Wellbeing Group at the Methodist Church Hall. That's growing. On average, we've got about 25 residents come every single week to that. That's really good. Completed several referrals for residents in both Birchington South and North.
or north and south.
That's like being in Mexico. That is.
I supported Birchington Primary Schools at the summer fair. That went really, really well. Supported 2 rough sleepers in Birchington. Jane touched on it. And awaiting Thanet District Council for the RISE team to house them. Slow, but we're moving in the right direction. I passed on intel to Trading Standards and Kent Police regarding a certain shop in Birchington Station Road. It's no longer trading and closed down. Today, I completed a scam awareness talk to 50 residents in Birchington, and they told me that it was the best, most interesting talk they have ever received. One more thing. One more thing. Jane, the project that I'm doing at the Dog Acre, middle of August, that's going really, really well. I've already got 28 professionals signed up, so I better close that down shortly, but it's going to be an amazing day.
Okay.
That's everything from me.
Thank you. Any questions for our top performing community warden? Councillor Fellows.
Thanks. So recently we had a presentation at a TAC meeting from the, I forget what the name was now, Emma Dickinson, was it? About resilience and resilience planning and emergency planning. I am in the middle of drawing up our emergency plan for Birchington. What was said is that, and I know a previous warden, Peter, sort of knew where all the vulnerable people were, you know, and I think he went round and always checked them on a sort of regular basis. Do you have a list of, or do you know of the most vulnerable people in Birchington?
I'm going to say no, but at the same time, social services have put me in touch with a lot of persons that are vulnerable, suffering dementia, etc.
Yeah.
That I've gone around the houses, I've seen, they've got to know me, I've got to know them, more so that I can see the faces, that if they're in the street distressed, that I can spot them and support them. And then also when I do that, I give them several of my business cards, encourage family members to be there, and make sure that in their going out jacket, they keep one of my cards and so forth, and various different places. Just another layer of protection, and always making sure that family members have registered them with the police on the vulnerable register in case they go missing. But to answer your question, probably no.
Yeah, it's just that it came up, if there was an emergency, but maybe we just had a massive power failure, or the water went off, or there was an explosion at the gas station, or something along those lines, you know.
Right.
And we need, and like you say, people with dementia, I know there's a lot of things go out online, or text messages, WhatsApp, people, you know, we wouldn't be able to get in touch with those people.
Sure.
You know, so, you know, we're just concerned if there was a big emergency, that we could find those vulnerable people if we needed to, you know, and I suppose it's all up here, isn't it?
I think the key point though that came from that presentation to the Planet Area Committee was that TDC would appoint a controlling officer who would run these things.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be any of the parish council business going to try and find vulnerable people and to intervene in some way, because we're amateurs at this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we wouldn't be involved in that, and we probably have no right of access anyway to the information.
That's why I asked if he had that.
I'm sure Jason and his team will be tied into the TDC emergency planning, and that will come
Most
together.
definitely, I am part
Thank
of that.
you. Let's have the next question.
No, mine was just to say that now that I've heard from this community warden, I can see why other members at KCC ask, can they have one? And I must say, I'm very impressed with the report.
Okay, thank you. He is the best performing, apparently.
He's a top performer. Most of the
Okay,
time.
so we come now to clerk's correspondence. No, we come now to the monthly bank reconciliation and payments.
Yeah. So these are like buses because they all come at once. So we have the bank reconciliation for April, May, and June. So I could with that. That's all. Sorry, that's April there. I don't know if anyone wants to send that one down that way. The bank statements are all there to support the figures. And there's June. Does anyone want to?
Okay. Hold on.
Lovely. Once that's all, they can sign.
Okay,
So
well,
let's go straight on to clerk's correspondence while you're.
While that's going on, we'll go to clerk's correspondence.
I have a couple of things that I want to speak about. The first one is to let everyone know that we have received £6,932 from the Football Foundation this morning in our bank account, which is the next drawdown of the grant for our football pitches. We also received in our bank, we also received notification last week that we've been successful in an application for £4,500 of grant funding from the National Lottery to help us with the woodland area in the MRD. So you will get your bulbs, Jim.
How much?
£4,500.
It's a lot of bulbs, Jim.
That's a lot of bulbs.
My bulb, mine.
We've got some sad news in that we've heard from the Birchington Man Shed that they've been given notice to leave their accommodation, which is on the Quex estate. They've been given till the 30th of September to find alternative accommodation. So it goes without saying, they have reached out to us, but it goes without saying if anyone knows of anywhere that would be a suitable location for them. I think, did you want to say something, Emma?
Darling Project has got it's open to various groups, and if they try there, I'm sure it's David Heath. I can send you his.
Could you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's really pleased, actually.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, as everyone knows, I want to just talk briefly about the office refurbishment. The external works to the building have been done. The quote for that was £1,600, and it's actually come in at £848. So that's the good news. The electrician that Adam, who is our contractor, is using to put in some new power points and to replace our existing heaters, asked me to come into the office on Friday because he's uncovered the fact that our electrics are not to standard. I've asked him to give me a quote for to bring the electrics up to standard. He's done that. It's come through just before this meeting. So apologies because no one's seen this. I saw it myself just as we were starting off. This is to replace the consumer unit that we have. The one that we have at the moment is completely overloaded and everything's piggybacking off it. It's not good. So it's to replace the consumer unit and basically to put right what we have. The quote that we've been given is £1,732, 19 pence plus VAT. So I'm asking council if that's something, soon as it's a health and safety situation.
I think it's something that we are partway through a project. We found something that was unexpected. I don't think we have a choice. It's something that we will need to go to, but Councillor Preble.
Yeah, we need to do it. There's a safety issue with it anyway, and we just need to press on with this.
Yeah. Any other comments?
Yeah, actually, the terms of the lease with the landlord, does that cover?
No. Fully repairing lease.
No.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the proposal is that we move forward and take this quote and get the work done.
I'll second
Those
that.
in favour? Anyone against? No, thank you. Anyone abstain?
I'll abstain because there's only one quote. I think we should have more quotes.
Yes. We circumstances are such that we
Yeah, I
don't
get
have
that.
the time to do that.
I get that. I get that. I get that. So absolutely.
Thank you. That was passed. Anything else?
What could you? Is that something down from there? No. Well, the last thing that I wanted to speak about, and it's something that I sent around Robin about, and I'm conscious about the fact that I haven't got back to them yet, and that's Broadstairs and the Christmas lights.
Was there a price on that?
They are free.
Oh, they're free. I mean,
but I do believe that they come with a can of worms.
what do you do with a can of worms?
Well,
you hang them on the lights.
No, I mean, I made the suggestion. There is a committee for Birchington Lights. Maybe they need to speak to them.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, if it's free, then just pass it to the Birchington Lights Committee to see if they want to do anything with it. I don't think we should be getting involved with it.
I'll go with that suggestion. I don't think it's a matter for the parish council.
I think it would be what Phil's just said. If they're going to if they're free, let's take them, have them tested.
I don't think we should take them. I think we should find out if we can use them first before we take them.
Make sure that they work.
I would be reluctant to do that. I would prefer that we put them in touch with the Christmas Christmas event organisers and for them to talk directly. And that way we have no liability or responsibility within that. So that's the proposal. Are we all agreed on that?
Yeah, unless our Kent County Council would be willing to donate some money out of this fund for some new lights.
Oversubscribed already, I understand. So I'm sorry. Let's just focus on that. So
I agree with that. Yeah.
Sorry, Jim. Did
no,
you
I was just saying lights aren't just for Christmas.
No. Okay. So are we content with that proposal that we're not?
Yeah, I agree.
We wanting to take on the lights.
I just thought the nature of them is quite a complicated thing to organise.
Yes.
I mean, I think we'd have to get KCC involved. It's a bus route, and
they're not just little lights you put up. They're big.
They're across the road lights.
Okay. Thank you. We resolved that one. Any other points?
No, I think that's me finished.
All right.
Thank you.
We've reached the finishing line. Thank you all. Date and time of the next meeting is the 15th of September. 2026 at 6:30 here, is it?
No, I have, sorry, it's not going to be in the library. Sorry, I've booked the church house.
Oh.
Thank you.
So the next meeting will be 15th of September in Church House.
Or the office, maybe, yeah?
Or the office, if it's
Potentially the office.
None of this as warm as this.
They're in there.
Thank you for your attendance and participation.
Nationwide. Diane. Nationwide.
No, I'll put in this.